Welcome Average Joe Nation from around the globe. Props to you for staying up to date and keeping in the know. With fantasy football, man, very soon you'll reign. The knowledge that these three guys have, man, it is insane. Fantasy football talk, hateful eight, they wear the crown. Hold it down, Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli, hold it down. Pulling up to LB Design Studio, we're getting loud. Season 2, headphones on, red light go, break it down.
Welcome back to the Hateful Eight Fantasy Football Podcast with your host. I'm Papa Trimboli, and with always, Blackburn.
Pow!
And Pickle.
Yeah, judo chop. Judy chop.
Yes! Changing things up a little bit today, but the segment still stays the same. In this episode, we will discuss the Week 6 games and get your lineups. Whoa, I screwed that up. We will discuss all the Week 6 games and get your lineup set.
Yo.
As always, don't forget to follow the show's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. Now onto the Week 6, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Weekly starts and sits, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, the good, the bad, the ugly, presented by StatRoute. Dominate your league. Get the stats used by the pros. Any stat, any player, any team, available in under 5 seconds. Head over to StatRoute.com. Use the promo code HATEFULFF to get 25% off your subscription. So, Week 6 games.
Yeah. See, listen, I would put my intro read as an ugly. Slide it right in there.
Yeah, I'd say it was an ugly.
Or a bad, actually. I forgot I screwed all that up.
No,
you're good.
I give you the ugly card on that one. Go for it. Who's got the 1 o'clock games?
You do.
Oh, do I? All right. So first one out the gate, Buffalo at Houston. If you started before the first couple games, you would have thought this is going to be a complete nightmare. It may still be, but Buffalo at Houston. The good in this one for me, Alfred Blue. Bills are 25th against running backs. And in Week 5, Alfred Blue saw 99% of the snaps and 100% of the rushing attempts for that backfield.
I never thought we'd say that, Alfred Blue, on this show, but
He almost had like 20 fantasy points.
I know.
He did. He was looking pretty good against the Cowboys defense, who didn't play horrible. It just Alfred Blue was actually the bright spot of that Houston offense on that Sunday night. So
3 trips inside the 10-yard line. They couldn't punch it in the end zone.
Nope.
Jalen Smith is looking legit
Yeah,
out there. He's
he
going
was,
sideline to sideline because that's been the biggest concern for that defense over the last couple of years is when Sean Lee is not playing, how good is the defense going to uphold? And I will tell you, with Jalen Smith and Vander Esch or whatever,
Vander Esch. Bosch was a Titan.
This is too.
Yes.
They I think stepped up and played well enough in my opinion. That defense actually did very well. It's just the offense is playing, as Todd Gurley said, with Jeff Fisher at the head coach, JV football. So they need to get rid of the Cowboys need to get rid of their Jeff Fisher and maybe bring in a guy. I've heard that the head coach for Oklahoma is of interest at the end of the season. So
Bring it in.
Worked
once before.
True, it did. Until his ego got the best of him.
Anyways, you got a Super Bowl, didn't you?
It did, 2 of them. The bad in this one, Houston's wide receivers not named Hopkins. And the reason why, the Bills are number 1 against wide receivers. So
no Kiki Kuti?
No.
Or how do you say his name?
No Kiki, do you love me? Nobody got that?
I did. I was thinking I was gonna say Cootie, do you love me?
No. Kiki, do you love
Cootie.
me? No.
You don't love him.
No. Will Fuller, no. So Hopkins is the only wide receiver that I'd be playing in that Houston offense this week just because of the defense against the Bills. And then the ugly in this one, it's not because I think he is a bad player specifically. I just think that there's a lot of factors against him. Deshaun Watson is the ugly this week against the Bills, who are 4th against quarterbacks, but with that rib/chest injury that he's dealing with, you could tell it was bothering him. I mean, they were bringing him to the medical tent. They used the stethoscope or whatever it is and checked out. Was trying to check his breathing and everything. You could tell he was hurt. I mean, he took some shots in that game. I mean, him and Dak did, but I just think
finished it.
He did. So I'm just saying I would just be hesitant. I'm not saying sit him, but if he's not getting his great numbers this week, please don't worry about it because he's dealing with an injury and the Bills defense isn't bad against quarterbacks. So now this one, I think it's going to be a good game. The Chargers and the Browns, I think, at Cleveland. You got the good in this one. Antonio Callaway for me. Chargers are horrible. They're 30th against wide receivers with Higgins being injured. And they're probably going to be playing from behind because that offense in LA are going to be scoring. And he's second in that offense with targets, and he's averaged about 6 a game. So, and I think that Landry's got like 8 or 9 a game. So he's just not doing as much with the ball as Landry does.
That's right. Baker's going to throw the ball around, so.
Yeah. So the bad with this one, Carlos Hyde, and the Chargers are top 10 against the run, and the game script could be similar to last week where Hyde was only seeing 35% of the snaps, and Duke was seeing 51 because they were playing from behind. So I'm not saying bench Carlos Hyde because he's been a steady offensive weapon for them. It's just his opportunity is going to be primarily, I think, in the red zone. I didn't think in this game because I think that Cleveland, like you said, is going to have to throw the ball, and they're going to have to probably be playing from behind. So if you're hoping for a lot of yards on Carlos Hyde, I wouldn't bank on that this week. I would hope for a touchdown upside with him. That's my concern for him this week is you're banking on hopefully a touchdown or two. So, and then the ugly, Baker Mayfield. Chargers are 23rd against quarterbacks, and they're giving up about just shy of 20 fantasy points a game. And like we said, playing from behind, and he'll probably be slinging the ball all over the field. So
yeah,
why
if you're
not?
a guy that streams quarterbacks, there you go.
It's not a bad matchup, and
No.
they're going to be playing from behind some garbage points. Look, Blake Bortles could do it. Anybody can do it.
Yep.
4 interceptions. And what'd you say, 4 interceptions and a fumble?
Mm-hmm.
And he still got you 20 fantasy points.
Unreal.
Welcome to fantasy. So, and then this one I think is going to be a pretty good matchup. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. I think this is going to be a
Always is.
high-scoring game, honestly. I think both defenses are going to give up a bunch, sadly enough.
That's right. Cincinnati's going to come out on top. We're good. Let them score 100 points.
This is true. The good one in this, Andy Dalton I've got. Steelers are 26th against quarterbacks. And so I went on Stat Route and looked. In 2017 versus the current defensive coordinator, Keith Butler for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Andy Dalton at home scored 23.26 fantasy points. So why not? I'm banking he's getting 20 to 25 anyway. So
Well, with Mixon back, I mean, it definitely helps. Plus,
Right.
A.J. Green's been balling out. Boyd's been balling out. And Uzama and
Yeah.
Croft.
Yeah.
So,
So they're all doing really well, that offense as a whole, and they're having to play. They're having to score because the defense really isn't holding up a whole lot. So
Well, Dalton's, when he doesn't turn the ball over, he's great. I mean, I know
That's been the-
sounds simple, but I mean, when he's not throwing the ball, not throwing multiple interception games like he was last year.
right, I mean that's the story of his NFL career is if he is not having to rush throws or having consistent pressure in his face, and he's got time to throw the ball and have time to kind of go through his reads a little bit. He's a good quarterback, and that's why everyone just bags on him like, oh, he's horrible, he's horrible. No,
well, they upgraded their O-line. So, I mean,
this is also true. And they brought in a better offensive coordinator. So,
What did he finish with last week? 16?
who? Andy Dalton? I think he was at 18. I could be wrong, though.
Well, think about that. And he had a terrible game, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, that defense carried him to the win.
right. So, I'm just telling you, Andy Dalton's a good one to play this week, and I would fire him up. I thought I was going to make a joke, but bad in this week. Vance McDonald, Bengals 24th against tight ends, and the Bengals are only giving up 9 fantasy points to the tight end in PPR settings. So, not the greatest, but and
You just don't know which tight end they're going to throw the ball to.
right.
you have Vance McDonald was doing well for the first couple of weeks, but then Jesse James was successful last week. So it's kind of a
And you still got Brown and Schuster lurking around. Connor's in there.
right. They had a really good game, all those offensive pieces. Not Vance McDonald though last week. And then this one, the ugly, I picked C.J. Uzoma. Is that who it was?
Uzama.
Uzama.
The Steelers are 27th against the tight end, and the Steelers are giving up a little over 10.5 around 10.5 fantasy points currently. So
He's probably available in almost every league.
probably.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to point out, which I think the Bengals might get into the red zone a little bit this game. Uzoma has 1 red zone target for a touchdown. He is only 1 target in the red zone, and he got a touchdown in that one. So I think it was somewhere between. I think it was like a 17-yard touchdown catch. But still, I looked at the targets, and last week when it was him and Croft only, no Eifert, he had 1 more target than Croft.
Yeah. I was going to say it's not a huge difference
No.
there, but he was the guy last week.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't change anything. They didn't try to change packages. Bring Croft in. It was all him. So
Right. So I'm just saying the ugly, it's just because it's not a Zach Ertz. It's not a Travis Kelce. It's not that I think he's a bad player. It's just it's not the prettiest thing to put C.J. Uzoma on your as your tight end for the week.
Well, let's be honest. If you're not lining up Ernst, Kelsey, or Gronk, it's not pretty any tight end.
Right. So even Jimmy Graham's not. I mean, he's going in ups and downs. So, and then this one I say that the defense is neither going to show up. They don't even need to line up. Tampa Bay and Atlanta. I think this is going to be an offensive, high-scoring game. Obviously, I just think the defenses are going to continue to just give up a ton of points. So the good in this one, Matt Ryan. The Buccaneers are dead last against quarterbacks. Literally the worst against giving up points to the quarterback.
Yep.
So fire up Matt Ryan if you got him this week. And then the bad, I had a hard time putting him in this spot, but Cameron Brate, I know that he is Jameis's BFF, but Atlanta is 4th against tight ends. That's their one great spot on defense is stopping the tight end.
Right.
For whatever reason, that's where they hang their hat at defensively stopping somebody.
And then just today, I read that O.J. Howard was practicing.
Yeah, I don't
know if he's going to play. I doubt it, but still, if he does, I mean, that's going to also affect Brate's production.
I mean, I still think that Brate is the main tight end that you're going to want in that offense going forward with Winston as the quarterback, but at least this week, I know that the defense for Atlanta gives up a ton of points. They just don't give up a ton to the tight end for whatever reason. So, and then the ugly in this one, Mohamed Sanu, the Bucs, shockingly, are the worst against wide receivers, and he is 2nd on the team in targets this year behind Julio.
Yep.
I know that Ridley gets a lot of the
He just gets the touchdowns. Yep.
but in a PPR setting or a half-point PPR setting, Mohamed Sanu is a viable play this week because Tampa Bay, like I said, worst against wide receivers. And you know the best coverage guy is probably going to be on Julio, and their second best coverage guy is going to be on Ridley.
Yep.
So who's going to be wide open running up and down the sideline and in the middle of the field? Mohamed Sanu or Austin Hooper. I really thought about putting Hooper in here, but I went ahead and just put Mohamed Sanu.
Hooper's been showing up lately.
He has. So
The best part about Sanu, if they decide to run that trick play, he might throw the ball too, because he was a quarterback in college. So.
True. He has the upside of throwing a touchdown. So if you're in a league that it doesn't matter whether you get 6 points for throwing the ball or catching the ball, you're still getting the 6 points. That's even more value for him. So yeah, that's all the games that I got. I kind of went through them quickly, but they weren't none of my games are exciting except for the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game. I think that's going to be the most exciting out of the ones I talked about offensively and defensively. So
I agree.
all right, who's got the rest of the 1 o'clock and then the 4 o'clocks?
That's me.
That's him.
That'd be him.
My first game is Cardinals at Vikings. My good for this one, and this is if he's healthy. Today he was practicing with the first team on limited practice, is Dalvin Cook. Right now, the Cardinals are giving up a second worst 142 yards per game, and they're ranked dead last against running backs. So I like the Minnesota running backs.
I was going to say, so if Dalvin Cook ends up not playing, are you still comfortable putting Latavius Murray in there?
No, because they've been using that Ham and whatever the other guy's name is more than Latavius Murray.
True.
So
He's just not translating into the pass game at all.
No, they're not using him in the for catching.
And actually,
Is it Boone? Is that what his name is?
Well, there's
Yep.
Boone and there's Ham.
Yeah.
Boone and Ham.
Ham Boone.
Hambone. There you go.
Anywho, my
Anyways.
bad for this one is Larry Fitzgerald. I know he's a big name. He's played in all the games, but I think he's being used more as a decoy.
Yeah.
He's got that lingering hamstring injury. He's only averaging 5 points per game this year.
Yeah, he's not living up to his potential, and I think a lot of it does go back to the injury, unfortunately.
And Christian Kirk's been doing pretty well.
It's sad to say I'd rather start Christian Kirk right now than Larry Fitzgerald, but
With Rosen, the quarterback, definitely.
you got to play. You got to start points.
And you know what? He's getting better, Rosen, each week. So
I still think he's better than Darnold. I know that people are saying that he's not, and that was the biggest concern. They were not my favorites, but if I had to pick one still at this point, I still like Rosen, I think, better.
I do too.
I just think Darnold is what he is. He's going to have high games, and he's going to have reality games.
I just think it's hard to compare the two because I think Rosen's playbook is shrank right now. I think it's small. I don't think they've given him the keys to the thing. Where I think Darnold, they'll just let him go.
Well, they don't care at this point.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I guess that makes sense.
Well, I don't think they expected Rosen to be in this early.
You signed Sam
Well,
Glass House bubble wrap over here.
Yeah.
So you can't expect him to finish more than half the season.
True.
Breaking news here. Rams and Cooper Kupp
Yeah.
and Brandon Cooks did not practice today.
Oh.
Still in the protocol.
Well, shocking.
Not
Great.
good.
Thanks.
So stay tuned for Friday's update.
Yeah.
Right.
My ugly for the Vikings Cardinals is Kyle Rudolph. He's averaging 12 points per game. I think a lot of attention is going to go to Thielen and Diggs, and rightfully so. So that's going to leave Kyle Rudolph. Arizona is ranked 5th best against tight ends, though, so it's not a really good matchup. But if you got Rudolph, you're going to play him.
Yeah.
Like it.
I'm on board with that one.
I like the Vikings this week, so.
Yeah. My next game is Panthers at the Redskins. My good is
Everyone on Washington.
no. I mean, you're going to play him. It's Cam Newton. Did
Yeah.
you see Drew Brees?
Yeah.
Really? I mean,
Ballin'.
they just Washington didn't even show up.
No. And that's like coming off a bye week.
Right. And then Cam Newton has the threat of the run, too, which Drew Brees doesn't really have. So, I don't know. I don't like it. I see Cam getting like 24, 25 fantasy points this game.
Yeah.
My bad is Adrian Peterson. I know he's got a separated shoulder and he's going to play this week. But I think game script alone is what we're going to see Adrian Peterson falter because Redskins are going to be down, I think. And they're going to lean more on Chris Thompson if he plays or Capri Bibbs in the passing game. And Adrian's just going to be shut out.
Yeah.
And my ugly is Jamison Crowder. He's the only Redskins starter wide receiver that's really healthy.
Yes.
Josh Dotson's got a heel thing going on. Paul Richardson's got a knee thing going on. So, and he's averaging 10 points a game. Carolina's middle of the road at 20 against wide receivers. So I like Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
They're going to have to throw.
Volume, if nothing
Yeah.
else.
Exactly.
Bears at Dolphins. My good is running back Tariq Cohen.
Ooh.
Now, it's not popular, but just listen to this for a second. Jordan Howard was drafted way, way ahead of Tariq Cohen. Listen to these stats. Howard, 64 rushing attempts for 203 yards and a touchdown.
Okay.
Tariq Cohen, 27 attempts, so nearly 40 less.
Yeah.
139 yards and a touchdown. The passing game is where it matters, though. Tariq Cohen's got 169 yards receiving with 14 catches and a touchdown. Howard's only got 10 receptions, 70 yards, and 0 touchdowns. So he's being outplayed by 5 points a game. I like the way that the Bears are using Tariq Cohen in the passing game. Jordan Howard's not doing much, so I'd roll with Tariq Cohen.
It's the Andy Reid effect, that offense. If you got two good running backs, play to their strengths.
So that's why I wondered coming out of the bye week if they would have emphasized more of Howard now moving forward.
Well, I don't know. I mean, before they went on the bye week, Trubisky had 6 touchdowns. He was throwing the ball everywhere. Everything was spread
True.
out.
Everything was falling right into the receiver's hands. So
It was.
So I like the way they used Tariq Cohen in that game.
Yeah, but they can't rely on Trubisky to be like that every week.
No.
You actually can't rely on him to be the guy to win you the game
The
every
Dolphins' run defense, though, is top 10. So I think
True.
Jordan Howard's going to get stuffed. They're going to have
Yeah.
to throw, and I like Tariq Cohen in this matchup.
they're going to have to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
My bad for this week is Kenny Stills. I think Parker, if I'm not mistaken, comes back this week.
They've been trying to shop him away on a trade.
Yeah.
Hoping before the
And Kenny's
the-
slowly falling, too.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, and it doesn't get much better because they're playing the Bears. That pass rush is going to be all over Tannehill.
yeah,
They're not going to have time for Stills' routes to develop unless there's a busted coverage.
true.
And my ugly for this week is Kenyon Drake. I know
Ooh.
he's their best offensive weapon. He's averaging 12 points a game, and I think he's going to be the beneficiary of a lot of checkdowns because of that pass rush.
True.
But Bears are ranked number 1 against running backs.
Ooh.
Dude, everyone's buying into Drake a little bit, but he did nothing. He had one half.
Right.
He disappeared the second half. And he had 6 carries?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just made the most of minimal opportunities. Honestly,
I mean, he made all his damage in the passing game, but
Right.
still.
Well, that's what's going to happen here because I think Tannehill's going to be under pressure from Mack and company. He's just going to be the check down guy.
Yeah, probably.
Next game, Colts at Jets. My good is Eric Ebron. I think with Hilton and Doyle both ruled out,
Yeah,
Eric Ebron's going to feast.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's balling.
I almost put Nyheim Hines here because he's another one that could potentially
He
ball out
was
this
good.
week.
He was good as well last week. That you'd said as a wild card. You talked about it in last week's Thursday night game.
Well, those two guys are his best receivers. I mean, Ryan Grant's
Yeah.
listed as their number 1, which I'll get to in a second. But, yeah, it's those two guys. My
Yeah.
bad is Ryan Grant. He's the number 1 wide receiver with Hilton out. He's averaging 11 points a game. But Ebron and Hines are getting all the targets.
yeah,
So-
they're the volume guys now.
Yep.
Luck's not throwing it downfield,
No.
like past 30, 40 yards. So it's just Hines and Ebron.
I think he has a trust in both those players. That's also what you're seeing.
Right.
I
Well,
guess.
Ebron has looked great all
Yeah.
year, and he either went undrafted or you drafted him somewhere in like the late rounds, and he has been perfect.
Well,
this
back
year.
in preseason, if you remember they said Ebron was looking like the best tight end
right
there.
So hopefully you got him early in your
Yeah.
draft, or you picked him up off of wafers. So wafers, not vanilla wafers, waivers.
I want some banana pudding.
Waivers.
I'm hungry now.
My ugly for this game is Isaiah Crowell. He's averaging 17 points per game. He's got three out of the 5 games over 20 points. The only 2 teams to keep him under was at Denver and at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, he only had 2 points because they went to Bilal Powell. It's
Yeah.
just passing game script. Indianapolis is 26th against running backs. I like the run game here for
The
Isaiah
Jets.
Crowell. Yeah.
Well, in general, the Jets. But, yeah, primarily Crowell. Man, if they could just use this the way that they used him last week. I know a lot of it was kind of just game script and everything. But to me, Isaiah Crowell is not a bad running back if
No,
you
he's
play
not.
to his strengths.
Yes.
If you don't turn the ball over a ton and you don't force throws, I think Sam Darnold if I was him, I would make sure that I'm getting him at least 20 touches a game,
Well,
easy.
The problem with these teams like that are built like this is the game script.
Right.
Because you got a power back,
Right.
and Crowell, and then if you're losing, you go straight to Bilal Powell. You take Crowell out of the equation.
True.
Same thing in Washington, Chris Thompson and Adrian Peterson.
Right.
It
Yeah.
stinks.
I think when they want to play faster though and speed it up, you can't have just the power back in there. You need the multi-dimensional back. So that's
True.
why Bilal Powell gets the carries. And
We'll put both in there.
well, I agree, but I think that's what we're seeing sometimes.
Yeah.
At least with this situation. But you're right. I think Crowell is always going to be. I think he's the better back for fantasy reasons, but we'll see who gets the touches.
My last game is Seahawks at Raiders.
Ooh.
My good for this one is Tyler Lockett.
Boom.
He's averaging 16 points a game. He's out playing Doug Baldwin. He's that big play guy down the field.
Yeah.
Doug Baldwin, besides last game, we'll see probably more targets, but Tyler Lockett makes the most out of those big
He
plays.
stretches the field.
Right. And Oakland's 21st against wide receivers.
Mm.
My bad for this game, bust of the year, Rashad Penny.
Boom.
He's averaging a glorious 3.3 points per game.
Rusty old Penny.
And even with Carson out, we thought Penny was going to step in and do his thing.
Mike Davis.
No, Mike Davis rolled in there and said, "Not today, kid."
Not today, rookie.
So and
Get
then,
out my
and then
place.
Pete Carroll came out and said that we didn't give Penny as much opportunity as we should have. Well, when Mike Davis is balling out like that, why are you going to give it to Penny?
That's
him
just
and
shop
Carson-
talk. That's just shop talk.
Yeah.
I hate that chewing.
And my ugly for this game is Mr. Inconsistency himself, tight
Yes.
end Jared Cook.
Ooh.
He's averaging 17.5 points per game, but that's because he had two 30-pointers. But
Yeah,
to me, he's the main option in that passing game. That's who Derek Carr looks for the majority of the time.
Yeah, I mean he's leading the team in targets.
Yeah. He's got 30 receptions. Cooper has 22 and Nelson 20.
I was gonna say, do you?
He's come back from the dead.
He did. I know we were concerned that without Rodgers would he be anything, and he's actually stepped back in as a viable fantasy option. So
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to say, now a lot of people talked about this being Marshawn Lynch's payback game. So my question is, do you think Marshawn has any care that he's playing his old team that kind of...
No.
I don't either.
I think he's mad at the Raiders, too, because like the Seahawks, they were on the 1-yard line and decided to throw it.
I mean, I never found the soundbite, but didn't Derek Carr in an interview say, if I
ever had Marshawn Lynch on my team and we were at the 1-yard line, I would give it to him.
He goes, I would never throw the ball.
Which he did, and guess what happened? Pick.
Wow.
Hey, he's never seen that before.
No. Whatever.
I still think Lynch will be a good player, though.
Yeah, he's got upside for sure. What you got? You
All
got
right.
the primetime games.
Oh, yeah. I got the late games. All right, I got the Rams at Denver. Listen, you can play everyone here again. I mean, this is going to be a theme in the games I have. But anyways, my good here is actually Sanders and Thomas for Denver. The weakness for the Rams, if they have one, is the passing game. They can't defend the pass very well. They're 17th against the pass and actually allowing 24.2 points to the wide receivers.
They only have one solid corner right now.
Right. I'll play them. So play them. Play Sanders and Thomas. I'd play either one. My bad, and this is strictly because it's a split backfield. It's Freeman and Lindsey. I think if they would just they'd give one the dominant carries, I think you'd see a change here. But until then, I don't like the play here against the Rams. They're ranked 10th against the running back.
Right.
They've only led 3 rushing touchdowns all year.
Well, I just like the fact that Vance Joseph makes the comment before last week's game. We've got to get.
We're gonna get Freeman more involved.
He's been saying
He
that.
actually got less than he's actually been averaging
Right.
all year.
And then why does he have Booker in on the 2-minute thing? It's
Vance
How
Joseph
he-
may be not a coach at the end
yeah. I
of the
was
season.
gonna say
I
how
was
he
gonna
keeps
say,
his job is going to be unreal.
I don't know. Jason Garrett still has one.
Add Jay Gruden to that list, too.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways.
Anyways, the ugly here now. It's only if Kupp or Cooks or both don't play is
True.
Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
We saw him last week come in. He had 3 targets and a carry last week. So I'd say if either one are out, plug in Reynolds. I mean, we've seen the Rams wide receivers be a good play all year. So
Yeah. He was really good in the college at Texas A&M. He kind of was like another Mike Evans type, just a really big physical wide receiver. He just unfortunately is buried behind two better wide receivers.
Oh, technically 3.
Yeah,
Technically,
Robert
if you
Woods
want-
is there too.
Right.
Well, 4 if you want to put Gurley in there.
True.
So
Yeah, I mean, don't expect a ton from him, but I
No.
mean, if one of those guys are out, Reynolds could be a quick stash and
yeah,
play. So, all right, now we go the exact opposite. We go Baltimore to Tennessee. We go from all offense to offensively challenged.
I like it. This is true though.
So my good in this is the combination of Brown or Crabtree for the Ravens. The Ravens have made it an emphasis on Joe Flacco throwing the ball, and I believe the running game will struggle against the Titans. So I believe they're going to have to heavily rely on the pass here. I'd play both Brown and Crabtree.
Yeah, upside for both. I mean, John Brown's got that big play every time that he steps out there though.
I'm starting to turn the table on Brown, and Crabtree's going back to that volume guy that he was in Oakland. So
Right.
that's great. My bad here is not Aaron Collins, but Alex Collins.
Oh, not a shout out to Aaron this
No,
week.
Aaron, you're a good player this week. Alex, not so much.
Not so much.
Collins has been up and down all year, and he faces a Titans defense that ranks 4th against the running back. The Tennessee has not allowed a 100-yard rusher yet.
Wow.
Shout out to
And-
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. And they even haven't allowed a touchdown to the running back either on the ground.
Ooh.
So I don't think Collins will be a good play. I don't think even Buck Allen will be a great play here.
I don't care if Baltimore was playing the Cardinals, who's ranks dead last against running back. Alex Collins will still not see the end zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's afraid of it. It's a phobia.
Yeah.
Red
It's crazy
zone-
to think
red
that you're
zone
playing.
phobia.
It's crazy to think you're playing the RB2 on that team over the RB1, but
I
you
mean,
had to pick heads up right now, Buck Allen or Alex Collins, PPR.
Buck
Buck
Allen.
Allen.
No question.
Yep.
not even like one question.
Yeah. Not even one?
No.
Come on.
Not
All
even
right.
one.
And my ugly, and I talked about him on the last show, it's Davis here.
Corey.
Yep, Corey Davis. The inconsistent play from him is directly related to Mariota. I think he's the best offensive weapon on the team. I just don't think that
They know
the
what to do with it.
Yeah, and with the lack of the running game, the offense in general is just stalled. But he's currently ranked 13th amongst all wide receivers in targets.
He should be a monster.
Yeah, so I'm saying the volume's there. He just once he connects, you hope he's in your lineup that week. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. That offense, I can't figure out. They've got the offensive coordinator from the Rams last year, and that tells me that how this offense is doing little to nothing tells me that it goes back to it was Sean McVay.
yeah,
Derrick
I
Henry
agree.
has 5 fantasy points in almost every game this year. That's it.
But hey, he's consistent.
yeah, consistently terrible.
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
Again, if you had to pick one in there, you want Lewis.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you had to
It's sad.
pick
I can't
one.
even talk about either one of those guys. We can't talk about them any week.
No, they're horrible.
It's bad. They're just
They're not even good enough to make to the bad level. They're horrible.
Yeah.
He's my bust of the year so far.
Either
From,
one
from
of
where
them.
his ADP was.
yeah.
4th round, 5th round.
They're both horrible. Anyways,
Moving on. Jacksonville at Dallas. My good here is the defenses.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jacksonville continues to dominate, and Dallas has actually been surprisingly pretty strong.
Yeah.
And we both know neither offense is strong. No offense there, Pickle.
No.
And both quarterbacks are prone to turn the ball over.
I'm just saying, who would have thought going into this game that you would be talking about the defenses being good?
Listen,
Specifically Dallas.
Yeah, and when I looked at this matchup, it was tough to find anything. Because here, we're going to move on to my bad. Any receiving option for either team. And it's not that neither team doesn't have someone who could play well that game. It's who do you play?
Right. It's a giant like confusion.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. The Jacksonville wide receivers, they just pick the week that they want to do well. Every other week, it's crap.
Right. It's Moncrief one week,
Yeah.
and it's Kiki, or
guy-
not Kiki, but then it's
Cole.
Keelan Cole, and then who's the other one? Who's the third wide receiver in that?
You already
all-
say Moncrief?
Yeah, it was, and there's the third guy. Anyways,
The only guy I feel safe playing this game is Yeldon.
I was gonna say,
And that's my ugly play. That's it. And pure volume only, because
Yeah.
with Fournette out, that's why I like Yeldon too.
Because
He's probably the best receiver and running back right now. on that
Dallas
team.
is going to be blitzing Bortles. You can guarantee that. So Yeldon's going to get a lot of checkdowns.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad if you got wide receivers on either team. I just don't.
And
who,
now,
do you feel safe playing against either defense?
I say, and with ASJ now and out,
Yeah.
you're,
Right.
you're definitely using Yeldon in the passing game as much as you can. So
Is it Swain? I thought
Swaim,
Swaim.
Jeffrey Swaim.
He was someone I flirted with the idea of throwing out there as my ugly too.
He had a couple decent plays.
he's
Yeah.
he's sitting at he's averaging since I think the last 3 weeks since they actually started playing him over whoever the other tight end was. I forget what his name is. Anyways, he's actually been averaging I think around 8 or 9 fantasy points a week, which is
Yeah, it's
crazy
not
to
bad.
think
Yeah,
for a guy who you probably didn't even know how to say or spell his name.
right. I mean, like I said, we always talk about this. At least I've been saying this. The tight ends have been so bad this year. If you need a plug-and-play guy, who knows? Heck, even Tyler Higbee in the Rams game could be someone to look for.
Scary enough. Yeah.
If those Cooks and Cup don't play.
Right, that's all.
yeah.
Yeah, only if they don't play.
Yeah.
All right, Sunday night game. We got Kansas City at New England.
Ooh.
I'm intrigued by this one.
I am too.
Do you think good old Uncle Bill cooks up something for that defense to stifle the rookie? I don't want to call him a rookie, but he is, since it's truly his first year. He didn't play at all.
He is a rookie.
Right. So do you think that Uncle Bill figures out something and plays a little chess while they're playing treble?
Yeah.
Trouble,
huh?
I still think
trouble.
I still think that Belichick's salty from what happened last year when Kansas City went down there and just went nuts on him.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is what do you take away? I mean, because Belichick's known to take away something, but Kansas City, man, they're great on all three files. I mean, they're great at the passing game. They're great tight end, wide receiver, and running back.
Tyreek
What are you
Hill
going to
started
do?
the gate out real hot this year.
Yeah.
Right.
He's since slowed down the last few games.
True. He's been spreading the ball more so around.
I mean, so you think take out Kelsey and maybe that would alleviate some of your issues?
Well, if you double team Kelsey, you're going to leave one of those wide receivers one-on-one.
Well, that's kind
and
of
you
what
don't want
I
to
was
leave Hill
hoping you would say.
one-on-one. Yeah.
No, you're
So if you just rely on the wide receivers, I mean, you got Kareem Hunt still coming out of the backfield.
I think
And we
I'd like
saw
my
that one
chances. I think I'd like my chances at playing
I'd
against Kareem Hunt.
I'd rather make Kareem Hunt beat me than those wide receivers and Mahomes.
I like it. Well, anyways, Vegas thinks there's going to be a ton of points there.
There could be because
So I say fire everyone up.
There you go.
Seriously, that's my good. You fire everyone up.
Offensive, anybody, go for it.
Why not? I mean, where's there a bad play here? James White, you're going to play him. Sony Michel, you're going to play him. Gronk, you're going to play him. Edelman, you're going to play him. Brady, you're going to play both quarterbacks. The only issue here, so there's my only ugly plays here are Gordon and Watkins.
yeah,
True.
because they're inconsistent.
Right. But if you're going to play him against the defense, these are the defenses you want to play him against. So
Okay, let me ask you this. Who, if you had the opportunity to play, I'll ask both of you, who would you play, Watkins or Gordon this week? If you had to put one of them in your flex.
Watson
Watkins.
or Watkins, yeah.
I know what you meant.
I'm going Gordon.
See, I really leaned Gordon, but I think that Watkins is more consistently bad.
Well,
Josh
that
Gordon
makes
wouldn't have got a touchdown last week because Brady looked at White. He was not open, so he looked at the tight end, what up, and he just threw that ball up there in hopes that Gordon was going to split the double team and get it.
So my only reason why I'm taking Gordon here is because Watkins' injury.
True.
So that's why I'm nervous. That's it. So if I had to go with a guy I don't think's injured, that's basically it.
Yeah,
and
but-
the touchdown upside I think's on Gordon's side than it is
But
on
take
Watkins.
that 50-yard touchdown away from Gordon. What did he do last week?
Well, no, I get that.
2
But
targets, 50 yards.
He's strictly a touchdown upside only for me.
Yeah.
Because with Gronk, Edelman, White, and Michelle,
Hogan. Even Hogan got into
They
the
were
mix.
moving the ball up the field. I mean, granted, it was against the Colts. Like
Yeah.
you made that point, but it just seems like with Edelman there, it freed everybody else up.
Well, see, I think Watkins, let's say he gets 4 or 5 catches, but he gets, I don't know, 30 yards or something. I can get that all back with one touchdown by Josh Gordon because that's all I'm thinking Josh
But
Gordon's
if
gonna
he
get.
gets that touchdown.
Right, but that's how if I'm playing him, I'm thinking he's going to get that touchdown.
Yeah.
This is just the touchdown upside. That's it. But they're close. I mean, really not. That's why they're both, to me, ugly plays.
Yeah. I would agree.
I like it.
Then the Monday night game, which I'm really not excited about. I don't know about you guys, but San Francisco at Green Bay.
Blowout.
Yeah. And listen, I'm going to fire up a good here. It's Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think it's a running back by committee, but the 49ers ranked 23rd against running backs, and Jones has been getting more carries than both Williams and Montgomery.
And he is Aaron Rodgers' guy.
Right. He's come out and said that.
He's made that very clear that Aaron
wants him on
Jones
the field.
is his running
Right.
back.
It's my quarterback.
My bad this week is Kittle. Packers ranked 4th against the tight end, and they've only allowed 238 yards and 0 touchdowns for the first 5 games to the tight end.
Man.
Plus, Kittle is banged up.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
I was
hurt.
going to say Kittle is also dealing with a knee injury, and that's not going to help at all. So
No.
And-
Unfortunately.
the ugly here, and it's strictly volume, is Alfred Morris. With Breida down, Morris is now stepping up to the next guy up.
Yeah, he's doubtful. He's not looking like he's going to play, so
Yep.
it'll be Juszczyk and old Alfred Morris there.
Good old Cal.
You
Cow.
check. Cow.
Cal. Anyways.
And that's it from me. That's all the games.
Yeah, I mean, who's on bye this week? You got the Saints are on bye this week, and I'm trying to think if there's any other teams that are on bye.
I'm sure there is. I don't know.
I just know
Saints are one.
That's the big one.
Wow, why am I drawing blank here?
That's all right.
They
So-
did flex the Monday night game for next week. It's now Cincinnati and
Kansas City.
Yeah.
it's gonna be that'll be a
Oh,
good
no, I
one.
can't wait.
That might be a shootout.
I'm hoping.
So, All right.
Oh, the Detroit Lions.
That's the other
yeah.
one. I knew there was another
Well,
big
see, that's
team.
what's when you take those two offenses out. That's why you get these matchups where it's like Baltimore and Tennessee. I mean, there's just not a lot of
That's
fantasy
going to be.
value.
I look
for
for Baltimore and Tennessee to be a low-scoring defensive game, like one of those 9-6.
You may want to
12 to-
stream one of those defenses.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
saying. Packers also good stream defense
Houston this week is a good streamable defense.
as well.
Listen, you know it's bad when we're talking about defenses right
Yes.
now.
I would even stream Dallas's defense against Bortles
absolutely, I
because if you
would.
can get 4 interceptions and a fumble off of him,
From one of the worst defenses.
true.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, and like I said, it's going to be a slow game both ways.
I mean, it's gonna be a slow crawl. I think both running games are gonna be the key in this game because I just don't think the passing game is gonna be big in the
No.
Dallas-Jacksonville game at least. I think Jalen Ramsey's gonna shut down whoever they decide to make the wide receiver one there in Dallas for the week, and then I think Byron Jones is gonna shut down whoever Jacksonville decides to throw out as their number one. So
Speaking of Dallas,
yes,
we all talked about Dez Bryant potentially coming back to Jerry's
Yes.
world. There was a thing that went out over Twitter, and Jerry Jones said they pretty much closed the door on that happening.
yeah,
And then he came out on a radio interview this weekend and said, we here at Dallas haven't had a true number one wide receiver in years.
yeah.
If you're Dez, how would you take that?
Well, I think the
Well,
conversation prior to that interview did not go well.
Well,
Right.
I'd lean over, I'd grab my remote while I'm sitting on my couch, and I'd press the button to turn my radio off because I'd be upset that I just heard that I was trash apparently for the past years.
But he wasn't. He was legit. Everybody knows he was their number
Well,
one. But
it's
he was,
Jerry.
He was comparing him to guys like Hopkins and Julio, and he goes, "We haven't had a guy like that."
But
Right.
That's this is also the same man that came out and said that he thinks his offense looks a lot like the Rams' offense.
This is also the same man that fired Jimmy Johnson while the Dallas offense and defense was in their prime
Yeah.
and probably could have won another 2 Super Bowls.
The only thing that the Rams offense and the Cowboys offense have in common is they both have 11 guys on the field.
And uniforms.
True.
Right. Other than that,
And they
no
play
similarity.
On, and they
at
play
all.
on a,
No.
and they play on the field. They
Yeah.
play on the field of football. That's about
Yeah.
the same. I'm a Dallas fan. There is no similarities. Not even close.
No.
Gurley
Sorry.
and Zeke maybe are comparable, but not really. Gurley to me is in his own world.
Higbee and Swaim,
Maybe.
Yeah.
I like it.
Maybe. So all I know is that I think it's truthfully I think this whole Jerry and Des
He needs
thing,
to go.
it's a drama thing and it's all about
He just needs to
ratings.
draw back from the team.
Yeah, he needs to just be an
Just-
owner,
yep.
not Jerry Moon,
You'll never-
player, owner, coach.
You'll
Well,
never
look,
get that.
Brown did it in Cincinnati, and we've actually starting to play better.
I'm just telling you, Jerry Jones
He's a control
will
freak.
never do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Will never.
Oh, I know.
It's all power. It's all control, and the fact that I'm just telling you, when you have a owner / GM / whatever you want to call him,
/ cook
Basically,
/ bartender.
pretty much that will remove the best thing you got going for you in a coach that you still have never been able to even come close to coaching quality wise, and you removed him right after you won a Super Bowl, 2 back-to-back, mind you.
because they clashed.
Well, it's because Jimmy didn't want to do what Jerry wanted to do. And I know that people make the comment, oh, well, Jason Garrett should be fired. Jason Garrett will not be fired unless Jerry Jones's family, who also runs day-to-day operations, somehow get into his ears and tell him, hey, we need to let him go. They're the reason why Dez is no longer on the team. It's not because Jerry. Because Jerry, I still think, would love to have Dez on his team. I know he says what he says, but I'm telling you, if he could and his family would let him, his daughter and his sons would let him, he would have Dez still on the team.
If it wasn't for his family, the Dallas Cowboys would have drafted Johnny Manziel.
Also true.
Man,
So-
that would have been a train wreck.
I would have loved it.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Anyways, all right, we want to say thanks again to all of you for tuning in to today's show via the podcast as well as on YouTube. Please check out the site, thehateful8ff.com, where you can find out our weekly in-season articles. Make sure you check those out. Those are always high quality, and we appreciate all the writers doing a great job as always for us. Follow our personal accounts at jpickleTH8FF, at jblackburnTH8FF, and at ftrimTH8FF. Don't forget to join the Average Joe Nation and support the show via the Patreon tab on the site, where you can get your in-season weekly help in a more depth approach than just the general talk and answering who should I play in the flex. This is, legit projections and everything, and who's ranked worst versus best, and quarterback versus the quarterbacks and everything else. So
Right.
it's in depth. And also, as always, we do the Sunday Q&A. So you can always look for that.
Yeah, you don't have to wait till Sunday. If you see us on Twitter,
Yep.
send us a shout out or send us a question that you might have. We're more than welcome to answer it.
Yeah, we're always walking down the hallway. No one got that?
No.
He said if you see us on Twitter. I said walk.
You know what I mean? If you follow us,
I knew I was trying to make a joke, but
there's no hallway on Twitter.
no, there's not. Anyway,
I don't get it.
it's not real.
I'm still counting fingers.
Jeez. All right. Thanks again. Good luck this
So's Pierre
weekend.
Paul.
He will be for a while. Thanks again. Good luck this weekend, and we will see you guys next week.
Fractions.
Bye.
One more time. There ain't no one like these three. You know you just heard Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli. Give the goods talking about nothing but fantasy football. Yeah, it's your year to dominate and to wear that ring. Prepare for the draft and dial in on your craft. Quarterback, the first round is a good choice, you ask? This guy's got first round pick, a favorite? Not so fast. He failed to tune into Hateful Eight. He's